very pleasant good morning, ladies and gentlemen out there. We are currently entering the Nyahbhingi. The Stoney got Nyahbhingi village, and this is what it actually looks like. If you notice, there's a lot of fruits and a mango tree and all type of great beautiful stuff on the plantation here. I wouldn't call it a plantation. A plantation would be for the Bucky Master then. This is the village of the Rastafari.
Fire red.
Ancient now, eh?
Yeah, this is beautiful. What is this? This is actually
This is the tabernacle.
this is the tabernacle. This is beautiful.
Right, and that law will help now the community to galvanize, because there is a center pole to build around, you know. So those things are this is what this is about. I think Paul Bogle and all our cultures, Kumina, etc., can benefit from how the Rastafari are going to deal with the culture. And then the Jamaican government is to help to facilitate us in our individual way of doing things. So instead of a Minister of Culture or a IOJ, etc., being like a patriarchal type of a thing, it's a new kind of arrangement.
Yeah, but the fact is that what you're really saying is the Rasta concept and the independence coming from the idea that Rasta is here to stay and needs to be part of the pantheon of the Jamaican culture is very important.
Without diminishing its Ethiopic, because that is a challenge, you know. That is a challenge in articulation.
Well, it comes from a history of diminishing it for the reasons of the colonial past, okay?
Right.
And we understand that. And I'm part of the IOJ, as you know. So
Right.
that the Rasta exhibition of the IOJ, which is something that was very important for Jamaica, as well as that takes a time on me.
Biting
Anyway, so we are a part of understanding that, and it's evolving.
Right.
It's evolving, and in the same sense that Rasta has to have the respect is the same thing that we are trying to do by having the Blue and Jonker Mountains declared not just as a physical site, but it's also the home of the Maroons.
Right.
And the Maroon culture is something we want to be able to encourage to
Right.
emerge as one of the sister cultures from which we all come from. And it is that concept. And if you ask me, I shouldn't even say it here, but if you ask me, I would tell you that our motto really is wrong. It should be out of many cultures, a range of culture.
Right.
Because all of us, regardless of who we are and from whence we came, we all appreciate the same culture.
We do, and I think now too, with globalization, which is something that is going to affect every person in the whole world, and how the economy is shaping up, who you are has never been more important in humanity, you know, based on what is coming, right? And the fact that you have a place like this now, we already see we are inundated with the food, the lifestyles, etc. So who you are has to be in order to uplift
And
it
recognize.
and recognize. And I think too, what I overstand as well is, you know, because after this meeting we're actually meeting with the South African ambassador in relation to Jamaica's role in Africa. And this is something the community has always been at the forefront of, and it's now happening, but it's not happening with the community. It's like you have influenced something and you're now not at the table of this great bilateral relationship now with
And that is a very fair comment, because it is one of the concerns, even for non-Rasta, how we have allowed all that has been generated from the Rasta to become something that is no longer under our control,
Sure.
Rasta control.
Sure. And so what I saw the president of Bolivia do as an indigenous personality is that he created national laws. He didn't wait for an international protocol or convention. He created this law and allowed the people now to thrive and plant the cocoa, like I said. Well, for us it's our ganja and our guinea hen weed and all of these things, yeah? So I think that the conversation for me, for Paul Bogle and the rebellion, is about that right of your labor now. You're not talking about what people owe you as reparation. You know what I mean? You're talking about what you have created in spite of all of this.
All of the oppression.
All the oppression has no huge value. And there are no laws that can bring that through indigenous rights and perception that will anchor it back here to the benefit of everyone. But as you know, the prejudice is just, prejudice is nature. It's tough, you know, so we have to make this very practical. So I'm saying in terms of the rebellion and the 150th anniversary, that is what we want to project within that this is what Paul Bogle was fighting for. What was he arguing about?
Social justice.
You understand what I'm saying? And social justice related to the people who were emancipated. Where is their land and how can they create out of that land and that impetus? This is the same question that we 150 years later are asking. Where is our freedom and our emancipation to use our intellect, no money, create a wealth? Now we say we want it and we're asking the government to simply pass an act that to say, Jamaica government said this is yours. And once you say that this is ours, we can then go to the world that we have influenced and say, listen, there's an owner that must be respected and must benefit from this. And that's why that deal that the Malis just did in New York is one of the most dangerous things that could have happened to us at this time, because we have not even negotiated our rights, and it's already being traded on internationally to define again who plants what.
Everybody thinks sometimes that I'm a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a bush lawyer. It's a bush. So my suggestion is that we have actually in law the protection of intellectual property. And what we need to do is to utilize it. So part of the story has to be to document it, to transfer it from A to B, so that it becomes enshrined as an intellectual property that nobody can trespass on.
Right.
So these are things which are available to you
Which
now,
we have done.
and you need to expand it.
Right, we just need to cross that prejudicial barrier, because this is what I feel that personally, that after 7 years of introducing it to Jamaica,
Yeah.
right, working with WIPO and UNESCO to, because we are one of the most vibrant cultures to articulate that with ganja on the table now, that the whole cultural competitive advantage is about Rasta culture and how it's entwined globally. We shouldn't be knocking heads with JIPO and all of these people about getting this thing done now, because this is the only thing that will protect.
Giving you trouble?
Huh?
Is giving you
Yeah, a
some
lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Because you see, they had a practice note from 2012 based on our agitation that should be leading now to the act. And we are saying that the act now must be put in place as part of the ganja regulatory framework, because ganja is at the center of the culture. And if it is determined under medical without the cultural things enshrined, then you're going to have chaos. Meaning you not only chaos, but you're going to be going at the heart of the Rastafari culture in how it has knitted itself today.
Can I say something like this? I think a very interesting comment, but let me say something. I think one of the main things that damage Rasta, and we have to call a spade, is that His Imperial Majesty is a man that holds deeply to him faith or religion, if whatever you want to call it. There are several churches that His Imperial Majesty built, and I think Rasta for far too long has distanced himself from identifying themselves. Rasta don't have them proper foundation as how them supposed to organize. Rasta need to be a part. You can't sell His Imperial Majesty, but you're not identifying with the church. His Imperial Majesty build a church and leave, right?
What do you mean the church?
The faith.
No, the church is a, when you say the church, because there's a church on Maxfield Avenue.
I'm not talking about the building itself.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that,
Right.
yes, I know that the item is the church. But all right, let us say then that in Ethiopia, like we say, and it seems as if we're getting a little bit distracted, but it's not getting a little bit distracted. Let me say something. In Ethiopia, we have 85% of Ethiopia is Christians. 15% belongs to Muslim and other religions. None of them deal with pork. None of the religions in Ethiopia deal with pork. His Majesty, regardless of what we have talked, what is documented, what is the truth, His Majesty came here and identified himself as a Christian leader, undisputed, as an Ethiopian 7-day. When we have how much 1,000 Rastas in Jamaica, we build this legacy, right? And when we take on a Saturday, that is supposed to be the day of worship, when Rasta is supposed to come together, that is where Rasta get weak out and get loose out, because that is not there anymore. And the whole thing in a, you understand what I'm saying? So it's like there's nothing that is really bonding the Rasta family together. There's nothing that there is the work. That is why the work of Rasta, in my mind, this is my view, you know, I may be wrong, but that is why the work of Rasta gets so fragmented and fall into so much. Yeah, because when Rasta move, you know, if him woman not in a battery rider, you understand what I'm saying?
Right,
the whole thing scaled down because they now respect the Sabbath, under which part His Imperial Majesty come and establish himself. And until we go back to recognizing that as a faith, right? Yeah. We will not able to, because the greatest banning is not going to be the physical banning.
Spiritual.
It's a spiritual banning.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, there's another point that I want to make clear. When it comes on to social justice that Paul will die for and land, I live enough years that I can dead enough, but I not going to die. I can say that much. I will be here. But when it comes on to St. Thomas, we not going to sit down and make no powers come take anything when Mark Stoney got in. We going to fight. Because this is something that we will have to preserve. This is, and I am not
to have him, that when she had him, she could not look at him, meaning she was not allowed to even look at him. And they took him away. At the same time of his birth, 4 horsemen went north, south, east, and west to proclaim the birth of the king. Right? I'm talking now how the people in the
province.
province,
Yeah.
right?
Project.
Project it. And they call that area their Bethlehem, right? So the idea or the conceptualization of how things happen and what you pick up theoretically of who this personality is and what you address it as is coming through the consciousness. It's not coming because we were not taught all this information about who is or whatever it is.
I sniff it out as well.
Right, came through the Akashic consciousness,
Yeah.
right? And identify him as the Godhead, right? So when that person came 2 days ago and made that revelation, because they want, our idea was that we would be twinning Pinnacle as the birth with Ijers of
Just a Gora.
Goro as the birth of Rastafari and the birth and that has been on the table.
Then I would go in that too.
Right. And so I'm just saying that our in even listening to you and about the sabbatical order and being able to galvanize because we couldn't have any place. I mean, when His Imperial Majesty came here in 1966 and the beginning of the church, you know, whatever that experience was. From 1930, we have been under subjection about wherever we gather. So if you gather, you cannot figure out what you're going to do with your day. Because your gathering is about protecting yourself to move. So we have to deal with ourselves intellectually. And that intellectual liberty would not accord for these particular, roots. Right? So our root is Ethiopia. We are sure of that. Anything else we are bobbing and weaving. So I'm saying in respect of the Christian faith and in respect of His Imperial Majesty, when you use words to say who he is or how he is or whatever, it would be best to leave that to another dimension because we are imbued with so much different ways of coming to that we can't. While we respect certain information, how it comes is the Godhead, right? And other things we know, add up to it or little things will come from it. So our respect is beyond his Christian leadership. Because our respect is like the Ethiopian people.
Even more.
Or even more because of our liberty and tribulation. We have to go higher in the consciousness and in the cosmic and bring it home. So that respect is what we know is the world has now accepted because that is how gods are made. You understand what I'm saying? That God was made and imposed on us. God, gods come out of culture. They don't. You understand what I'm saying? And our responsibility was to create ours because ours naturally was taken away.
Yeah.
So our work as people was to recreate ours without no help except from the Akashic consciousness to bring forward. And the world has accepted that, and now we don't know what is going to happen to this culture when it gets rooted. You understand what I'm saying? Like another explosion beyond what people might think about. Imagine, may happen. So I agree with what you're saying in principle. If we had been allowed to take root, what the direction of this country would have been.
All right. Sister Maxine, and for the records, the historical records say that Paul Bogle have 503 acres of land, undisputed. Right? That is what the historical record says. That the property Paul Bogle owned at STONEY is 503 acres of land. Back in those days, when a man tell you he has 503 acres of land.
It,
It could be 5,000 of land, because my grandfather told me that it's actually 3,000 acres of land, but I never really get into much land discussion. But the important thing is that it is documented as 5,503 acres of land. I am saying to this meeting this morning, you are standing on Paul Bogle property.
Right.
As the great grandson, I am saying that this part of the property will be donated to Rasta for Rasta cause. And that we are saying. So we can move on. You understand? Because we have historical data to prove that the property extends from round, so come all the way back over here, so. No, I don't have the title. The land, every inch of that land was taken away from us.
Right.
But how long you can take away it for? Because the information is there. So there is no way. There is no way, and I can tell you one thing I know. I have 3 sons. I have a little 3-year-old son and 2 grown men. And one thing I can tell you, anything I say, my 2 sons will never step over me. I don't know about the little man that is coming. So
right
we have to have somewhere. So I am, because I see the work of Rasta, and I can tell you. I remember Rasta tell me a thing when I eat. I tell a man, say I eat him. And a Rasta man called me and said to me, I'm going to go to him and say, you cannot eat a man that God created. You must eat in ways.
Yes. True. True.
You hear me say? Rasta man is the only man ever tell I that. You cannot eat the creation of Almighty God, whether the man white, pink, purple, or blue. You eat the ways of a human being. Rasta teach me that. My strength when me left Jamaica and travel is, my father was a policeman, so me grew up as policeman pick me and get beaten as policeman pick me. But me always maintain a certain relationship from a boy with Rasta, because there was always something about Rasta that captures me and I want to know about Rasta. So the days where them a push Rasta yes and push Rasta this, we have said that part of it. We go and look, Sister Maxine, and as early as next week we can get into that. We can set up a meeting and we go and look into ownership. Who is in ownership of the land?
Well, he is, you know.
Okay.
He's
Well,
yeah, that's
you have
why
a
I was-
title,
Yes.
brother? Well, we don't have a problem.
No, there's no problem here.
Okay, but things that there was a problem.
No,
based on
there's a
it.
problem with every other Rasta land. We're saying that this is making a difference. That's what we're trying to say.
Okay.
Every other Rasta land have a problem.
You know, should make that know a long time,
But I
man.
was trying to get there. But I like your 503 acre because I'm interested in going further. So on top of the 4 acres that we properly have here, 4.5. And the Brother Martin has another 4 and another 84 that he has in his dispensation garden, right? But again, we are saying that as a principle, that's why I said the importance of this center and the launch and the coming together is historic, because the first land that Rasta ever have now to launch something that don't have those type of barrier.
I never get a part of the
Okay.
street.
Any ganja that is growing here
No, I get a part of the
is
street.
Rasta ganja. No other type of situation. So that is precise. What we want now is the road, and what comes with the road is the life and water and life. And the brethren here was telling me that there's another road going up to Spring Garden down there that would be also of assistance to move this thing. You know?
So,
So what you really want to do now is to encourage the spiritual, intellectual work that you have that it really Rasta contributes to as something that other people, if necessary,
Yeah,
as
man.
well as Rasta, can appreciate
No.
and recognize. I mean that.
This one
Right,
and
because
no,
even
no,
even the IOJ, as you say,
No, yeah, one
our
will go back
biggest
to me.
problem with the IOJ was this. Because of the culture and what happened here, the first place an exhibit would occur is Washington, D.C. Smithsonian.
Yes.
You understand? That
That's
is
where
a
it
part,
happened.
that is
Yes.
where it happened.
Yes.
We agitate now for it to come here
Yes.
to Pinnacle. Because the same time we started with the Pinnacle, we said, well, Pinnacle would be the natural home now to build a cultural center and bring this exhibit now to permanent
exhibition.
home.
Yes.
Because of the Zoom, haul and pulling, and we never got to meet with the government for 6 years. It's the Honorable Bonnie Whaler that gave us a meeting with the Honorable Portia Simpson to articulate this. We were just always dealing with TPD or whatever, but could never have this national conversation, right? So the IOJ exhibit was to come here to spark the development of a center. So when they started to talk about going to Montego Bay and putting it in a building somewhere, we started to have loggerheads because we said, no, it's a living culture. It's supposed to go to a space that allows
Sister,
development.
I couldn't agree with you more.
You
I'm
know?
going to be clear. I am the Jew that put the Jewish exhibition at the Center for Judaism in Jamaica, synagogue on Duke Street.
Right.
And it's here now. You're never going to know where it's.
Exactly.
You can go there, anybody, Jew, non-Jew, can go there anytime and appreciate it.
Right.
And what you're saying is the same argument I hold for all our cultures. In the Maroon communities in Blue Mountains, I hope that we will see the same expression of their culture being recognized in those areas. So
Right,
this is-
because it is important though, because we're just coming from Brazil,
right.
right? And we were celebrating the king, forgot what his name, but it's the Maroon King
Mm-hmm.
for Brazil, right?
There's a big Maroon community.
Big Maroon community
University,
there.
yeah.
So what we want to be clear, the word Maroon is the African, Nigerian, Ghanaian personality. Maroon, we cannot be lost in that name. We have to put it in a particular place, because if you don't put it in a particular place, you're not going to encourage the Maroons to develop a culture, because their culture is the Ghanaian, Ashanti, whatever it is that is, you understand what I'm saying? So this word Maroon must be articulated better to allow the culture that is the Maroon, which is the African, Ashanti or Igbo or Nigerian, so that when they start to wear clothes or develop institutions in their communities, it takes on an Africanness. That is my problem with the Maroons and the name Maroon. And going to Brazil, I saw they have Maroon, but the Maroon doesn't dominate the Africanness, and the cultural expression. So when I go to Moortown or these places, I don't get that sense of Africanness. The only thing is they say the jerk, or you do a little this or you do a little that. So I'm very concerned. I'm just articulating it now, that the Maroon word is an adjective for the African who remained free for whatever reason, came here free, fought to be free, whatever. But they must now be able to articulate and be encouraged to articulate.
That's what I'm hoping,
thing.
that we will
We'll
be able to encourage
them.
particularly if we become, that area becomes a World Heritage
Site.
Site. But there's another aspect of the Maroon, which is, I think, not many people are aware, that they are aware also our previous ancestors, the
Tainos.
mixed with them. And part of the Maroon culture is also conditioned by the Taino culture.
Exactly,
So
and
it
they are
is
not
really quite a
even
very interesting situation, which needs to be
restored.
and encouraged.
Right, because
Retained and encouraged.
because especially in Jamaica, because in other islands we went to St. Vincent,
Yes.
where you have the Carib, or you
Black
have
Carib, yes.
you have them there to defend their culture.
Yes.
We have to actually defend now the Taino culture
Yes.
because of how the genocide that happened here. So our responsibility in articulating our culture as Rasta is to, for all of these communities, to not be taking these names, but to pull the African and the indigenous and then make the place look more flourishing. Rather than you go up there, you see Pure Seventh-day Adventist Church and it's like, what is a maroon? You know what I mean?
Fine is with me. I took him to the country.
So we'd like to just show everyone the tabernacle that's up the road, and then
And that have the heart of Christ himself. And Bogle, as in the name of Paul Bogle. That's my birth name.
okay, so
I'll
you
even with one in
yeah, so and we're gonna have similar smaller huts now, up and down, you know, in terms of plan. So it will be running like a village.
The one thing you have to remember that when you expect traffic to come here, you have to make a place for parking.
Well, that whole area there
Yes.
is for parking. That whole area there.
That is
And
what
then-
turn off people when they can't get somewhere.
With the park, yes. Plus we would identify in our infrastructure meeting other areas based on the layout. But for now, that whole area is for parking, and then we don't know what goes further up. That will come with the whole energy that way, you know?
Oh, this is a lovely building.
Yeah, to start.
Lovely building.
Hear the voice of the Rastaman say, Babylon, you tune down, 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 down. Babylon, you tune down, down. I hear the voice. Hear the voice of the Rastaman say. Babylon, you tune down, 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 down. Babylon, you tune down, down.
Rastafari.
Away home to Zion, away.
Rastafari and Honorable Jabdi Bonwela. Babylon, you tune down, down, down. Babylon, you tune down,
Rastafari.
Over land and sea. Over land and
Can't go outside with the carnal mind. With your carnal mind. Yes,
The earth is the Lord, Rastafari, and the fullness thereof. World and they that dwell therein.